make sure that your shelf is in the middle. All right. Now I'm going to show you how the bread looks. It hasn't risen, but it's swollen. You'll actually see the difference. It swells because the meat's in it, okay? So let me show you so you have a good idea what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Remember how skinny it was? See how it's swollen now? That's how you know. In spite of my kitchen being cold, it managed to come up. So we're going to take this off carefully. You don't want to touch this bread because it's really going to grow when it gets into the oven, okay? So you can see that it's already swollen. We're going to bake it in the middle of the oven. So always make sure that shelf is in the middle. You have to remember that. Now we are going to bake this for 25 minutes, okay? Now the trick of this bread that you have to remember is once it's done cooking, you bring it out, get it off the cookie sheet or the baking sheet, and put it on a rack to cool. And it's got to cool for 3 hours. It's going to take a long time because there's cheese in it, there's meat in it and stuff. So this is going to be a long time for it to cool. But once it cools, you've got it made. So I'll go ahead and get my rack out because I know it's going to have to go on a rack. So this kind of bread always has a long cooling because of what's in it. Like when you make cheddar cheese bread, you can't heat it up once you make it. You have to have it room temperature because if you heat it up, the cheese that's in it will melt. It's the same thing that happens. So now we're just waiting for the oven, and that's it. And we'll bake it for 25 minutes. But you can see that it did swell up. I'm very proud of it. And I managed to do it within 1 hour, but you can really see I already took the saran wrap off. Okay, so now we just have to wait, which is about 10 minutes. It should get up there, and then we'll be ready to bake it. I cannot wait to have this because I know how good this is. I don't know, I didn't ever have this bread. This is prosciutto bread. We started it yesterday morning, but it's a sourdough prosciutto bread. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to bake it, a sourdough, but we started this yesterday morning with a rising with our sourdough culture, and then we moved to today where we can actually bake it. We had two 12-hour rises to proof the yeast, give it time to completely grow, and we put it together this morning. So that's what we're making, actually, prosciutto, and it has meat in it. It has prosciutto, capicola, pepperoni, and provolone cheese. So it's very good, and it's made with beer. So I'm at 155. We got to get the oven up to 450. So if you want to know how to make this, you're going to have to go to part 1. Now, if you are just making this bread and you don't want to make a sourdough, you'll have to use a different recipe. And you would have to use yeast that you buy, which is 1.5 teaspoons, but I didn't do that. I want to make sourdough out of the breads that I have. No, it's not expensive because the meat you buy like 3 ounces, 3 ounces, 3 ounces. So all the meat is just 3 ounces each, and you have to dice it up. And the provolone is only 5 ounces. So it's very small pieces, so it's not expensive at all. But you could say it sounds expensive, and I don't know a man who doesn't like beer. So if you're a wife, your husband probably has a beer in the house. For those of you who read the recipe, and I said lager, that's an old term for beer. Okay? So I can put this away. I know this recipe now. I'm at the end of it. So all we're waiting for, like I said, is the oven. Bro chip stuff. Okay. So for those of you that already make it, but I've never heard anybody making this a sourdough. And that was my goal. I was going to make this a sourdough. I didn't even know if it was going to work, and it did. I woke up this morning, and my culture was fully developed. Hi, Sandra. I see we have the same name. Okay. We got 205 more degrees to go. And then we can put it in the oven. I know, I'm just standing here and people say, okay, I got what I needed. Okay. But this is very good. I'm not going to lie to you. This is very good bread. And it's only cooking for a very short time. Sorry. Oh, some people. All right, I'm just going to dry dishes while we're waiting for the oven so we can finish this up. I know it's boring. I understand that, waiting for the oven. I didn't turn the oven on because I was in another room doing something, so I should have turned it on, but I didn't take a look at the bread until it was 1 hour. Okay, we're getting there. I'm doing very well, Mad Clown. Thank you very much. For you that are just coming on, we're actually waiting for the oven. I'm at 335, so we have 120 more points on my oven. So if any of you want to know what this is prosciutto bread that we're making. This is part 2, and this prosciutto bread recipe is a sourdough. Because I know some people will sit there and say, that's not how you make it. Yeah, that's how I make it because I'm making it sourdough. I want to be able to see if we can take regular breads and make them sourdough. So far I've done rolls. And now I'm doing bread, and it seems to be working, that we can convert regular breads that we know into sourdough. And then we're going to go into handling flour differently to make a different kind of sourdough once we get past this, but you have to learn how to make some of this before we can move forward on this. And then we'll see. Now, if you say, but my breads don't taste like the European breads, that's because their flour grew in a different area. That's why France and Europe quit buying flour from us, because they noticed that the flour, they didn't have those unique tastes. That's because of the chemicals that are in the ground. According to the mineral content and the balance of it will give you those different flavors that you get out of the European breads. But we could still make sourdough cultures here and make our own bread as well. If you can buy local flour and it's right around where you grow, you'll notice yours will have a different flavor if you go somewhere else in the country. No, why do they do that? I don't know. Hi. Okay. 50 more degrees, we're getting there. Because this is going to cook at a high oven, so make sure it's in the middle of, your shelf is in the middle, and it's going to cook for 25 minutes. And for those of you who are just coming on, be aware that this bread has to cool for 3 hours on a rack. So you take it off the cookie sheet and get it in, or a baking sheet and get it on that rack to cool. Do not touch it or anything for 3 good hours, because there's cheese in there. And if you try cutting bread or eating it when it's that hot, you'll notice it goes back into a dough form because it has to set. Just like cakes, you can't frost a cake right away when it comes out. Not that it's hot, but if you go and handle it too much and the flour hasn't set, it collapses back into the dough state. This is why muffins, they say set for 15 minutes. They say set for this. The only thing they've never said to set is popovers? Turnovers? I think it's popovers that you make with gravy. That's the only one you eat right away. It's just egg and gravy or drippings that you beat up, and they're very flavorful. I haven't made those in a long time. That you can, but any kind of bread or anything that you make, be it muffins or biscuits and stuff, that's why you don't see me cutting the biscuits. They're hot. I have to hold them gently and break them open just like the muffins, because it has to settle. 5 more degrees. And I'll be putting these mothers in, and you can see they are more swollen than they were. Okay. Okay. 25, that'll be 15 after. Okay. That is it for now. We have 25 minutes, and I will be back on another video, and you will be able to see it. It's going to be exactly 25 minutes, and I know that bread will be done. And I'll show you exactly what it looks like. Okay, so see you in 25 minutes.